Hey, my name is Alex.
My name is Vince.
And we're the founders of Superwrap, and this is our story. A lot of excitement as soon as we landed in Vegas, only to realize we didn't know what we were doing. We have pretty amazing stories of just racing R34s through the highways in Australia, cars breaking down, being arrested, flying drones in no-fly zones, getting $3,000 worth of speeding tickets. We need to know how to start this story. We don't know where to start. So I got into cars when I was about 17 years old. I used to BMX a lot, and it seems like a pretty natural transition to go from riding your bike to sliding cars around. So 17 years old, picked up my first S13, started beating on it. It blew up within the first 2 months, so that's when I started to learn how to work on cars. All my friends did that, so we got a garage, really started working on the JDM scene. So up in Canada here, we can actually get right-hand drive cars pretty easily compared to down in the States. So right away, S13s, R32s, S14s, and slowly just kind of started to build up that skill set, building cars, drifting cars, until my parents got upset with me skipping school. So it kind of got more serious into that. And once I got into university, met this guy who was already ahead of me working in marketing, and that's when we kind of linked up. Vince had already started an agency, so perfect fit.
Yeah, I got into cars when I was probably around 16. At first, building shitty race car for a very small track around my hometown, and we used to try to race JDM cars too on days that they would be actually working. So my first track car was an RSX, so wasn't that fast. It crashed.
But was it fun?
Yeah, it was fun. So yeah, we met for a coffee, and I remember, like, I think that I didn't sleep much. You were like,
we were both going on about 48 hours of no sleep, and so we both
happened.
needed the coffee, and I needed to do an internship while I was studying, and I figured why not link up with a guy that I know likes cars, likes good music, and that's kind of where it all started.
Yeah.
And then from there, ran the agency for about 1.5 years, 2 years together. Had some great clients, had some great fun, really honed in our skills as to social media marketing, which was our specialty. And then from there, once we started to learn how to sell products online, we both had experiences with past. Me with really crazy colors on the drift cars, and there was a rubber-based product that was on your 5 Series for about a month. These products look good as soon as you install them, but a few months down the line, especially up here in Canada.
Yeah, my car was like a 3-tone kind of color. You had like white, then sand, then the actual color I wanted it to be, which was a kind of battleship gray.
That was kind of the beginning. I mean, experiences with other products on the market and kind of just wanting to start something that was our own kind of brought us to launch the R&D for what was Autodip. So this would be about late 2013. We really started to put a lot of the proceeds from the agency into the R&D for this product, knowing very well that as soon as we'd have something ready for market, that we'd know how to sell it, we'd know how to put it out there. So then fast forward to about middle of 2014, we finally had our first vinyl resin that was coming out gloss. And so right away we knew if we had something that was peelable, we had something that was gloss, there was a possibility to put it out there, and we wanted to know if people would want it. So
It took about a year.
Took about a year to get there. After that year, late August 2014, we decided, hey, why don't we go to SEMA? And for anyone who knows what the prep is for SEMA, you don't do it at the end of August or early September.
Absolutely not.
We were ambitious, to say the least, but we were able to contact people from SEMA, and a 30 by 30 foot booth opened up, and we just decided, let's do it. So we had an E92 M3.
That we brought in. That's gonna sound weird, but we brought it in a trailer that was done for like
lawnmowers
or like farm equipment.
Yeah.
Because that's the only guy that was still available.
Yeah.
And then that guy had to do Quebec City to Vegas in 2 days shorter than it would take normally. So when we saw him in Vegas, like unload the car, we were like, all right, this guy clearly had no sleep in the last week.
So just the preparation for SEMA in the 4 weeks before it were hell, and so many times we figured this is never going to work out. We had issues as well. The moment we finished applying the product to the M3, we realized that the straps that would go and hold the car in the trailer were
on
going
the wheels.
through the rim. And so the car's gonna be driving for 4,400 kilometers. It's bound to shake, bound to move around, and that's gonna peel the product off. So we figured, well, we'll just ship them down to Vegas. We should be fine to touch it up once it gets there. Lo and behold, yeah, you can't ship this stuff by air. So we had a kind of quick and dirty lesson as to how to ship products by air.
Yep.
We'll spare you the details, but it was down to the wire to a point where no one was comfortable with it.
Yep.
We put together a booth out of just basically scrap metal and some pieces of vinyl.
So, yeah, the first SEMA was really a blast because for any car guy, it's like the mecca. It's like where you want to be, what you want to experience, all the brands that used to, that's it. All the brands that you used to see in magazines, the brands that you would buy for your own car, the parts, everything, everyone is there. All the stars are there. And we were absolutely not ready. Like, it was way bigger than we thought. And
We didn't even have business cards. I think we went to Kinko's the night before and got them printed. We had nothing ready.
yeah, we were way too much in, like, let's say, in a rush to just to build the booth and everything. And we were like, oh, okay, we forgot this, we forget that, we forget this. But it's just like so, you get so hyped being there because you see everything you wanted to see in person. Like, let's say, for example, we were next to the Sonax guys, the first year, and they were so cool, these guys, and like the cars they would have there. And then we would meet. Ken Block was there, and that's one of the first guy we ran into. I was like, probably one of the first time I've been starstruck in my life was, whoa, this is Ken Block, dude, right there. And this guy was so chill.
Yeah. The funny thing too is we would get home from these long days. SEMA, for anyone again who's done it, it's 9 hours on your feet, very intense. And we would get home sorting through business cards, sorting through people we'd met, but we still had to run the agency. So it needs to be known that the first year in 2014, we still were running the agency. So before kind of diving 100% into this project, we needed to make sure that it was viable, which was why we were at SEMA.
Yep.
But while we were there, we were still answering calls from our clients when we were in the hotel room back in Vegas. So that took a toll on us. SEMA really is what started us off. I feel like this could be an ad for SEMA. I think we're gonna send this to SEMA.
Yeah.
Thank you, SEMA. SEMA's great.
Thank you, guys. It's expensive, but
yeah,
it's great.
Well worth it. Well worth it. So yeah, after SEMA, I mean, we knew we had something. We'd met with a few distributors. Clearly, we weren't ready for those kinds of deals, but we just knew there was an interest. So that's when we kind of committed a bit more and kept working on the product. I mean, we had something good, but from day one and even now, no matter how good it is, there's always things we can be working on.
That year at SEMA for us was really a proven concept, but also just hearing from people, like from the guys that would have shops, body shops, part stores, just like being amazed by how good the finish was and everything.
Yep.
Then it was like, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's just do it.
Yeah, and I mean, we're the first users of our product. I mean, we've always been the toughest critics of our own products, and that's why we've always tried to kind of do some of the customer support ourselves and kind of listen to what it is that people are looking for in the products that we're offering. So that was definitely a learning experience for us and a wake-up call to the hole in the market, but also to the little things we had to keep working on. And after having launched our social media, we launched our e-commerce platform in July of 2015, July 22nd. Yep, to be more precise. And again, thanks to the amazing community that followed us, you guys crashed our website roughly 12 times within the span of 48 hours. Yep. The interesting thing as well was we wanted to launch in the United States. I mean, being a Canadian company, manufacturing in Canada made it such that we were heavily criticized for having just launched in Canada, but really for us, we realized the potential of the US market. The US market being kind of a year-round market. You want to just keep rolling? All right. So yeah, being a Canadian company launching in the US, we definitely got a lot of criticism, but for us, the US is definitely the mecca of the car markets, and we figured if we can make it in the US, then we'll make it basically anywhere, at least we hope. But from there, really, launching in the US had its own challenges, so we had to warehouse the product in the US. And the moment we decided to launch in the US meant we needed to send some products down. Our warehouse was in Pennsylvania. and we set up a truck. So we had this 53-foot truck come in to pick up something about 20 pallets, only to realize you can't send stuff across the border if you don't have a US company who's gonna sign for it once it gets there. So within the span of 24 hours, over the phone, we set up a company in Delaware. We set up all the paperwork and we were able to get the products across the border. And this was on July 21st, and we'd promised to launch the e-commerce on July 22nd. So a little bit of stress, a little bit of nerves, but it wouldn't be Superwrap if there weren't those nerves.
It was crazy to see like the amount of people reposting our videos, like just the launch videos, and our following just go up and up and up and up and up. And then we would get so many international requests too of like, whoa, this is getting way bigger than us. And really that was the main goal, because at the end of the day, what we wanted is to deliver a product to the car community that would be what they wanted. We wanted also to release the professional version that we did during the summer, I think.
Yeah, I mean, once we'd launched on the e-commerce and we saw the velocity of the air soles pickup is really when we knew that we wanted to eventually tackle the full body market. But that was kind of more of a back burner project when we had the aerosol going. But I mean, yeah, we launched the e-commerce in the summer of 2015. Fast forward to the following SEMA, which of course, the wildfire that did happen from 2014, we figured why not go back to SEMA? And that's when we tried to launch our full body program. That was a little bit ambitious for the time frame that we did have. And again, nightmares probably. So fast forward, we decided, well, this year we won't ship a car because we know that kind of has its own problems. So we worked with a local facilitator, if you will, for cars for SEMA, and we sorted what was it, an R8 of a Hyundai Genesis supplied by Hyundai USA, and there was a third car.
Our friends, like a guy the dealer, Steven.
Yeah.
With a 67 Camaro that I'm a big fan of.
Yeah.
Because that car would haul ass. It was a 67 with an LSX, like the craziest setup. And then, yeah, those were the three cars.
Those were the three cars, and this Camaro was in New Jersey, so again, some more logistics, but at least it wasn't across the border, which made it a lot easier.
Yeah.
And Steven had already done the full body job on the Camaro. It was slammed, it was on bags, he had an insane set of wheels. So once we got to Vegas, we got to Vegas about 2 weeks before SEMA. We learned from our mistakes.
That's a lot of Vegas.
That's a lot of Vegas. No one should spend that much time in Vegas, trust us. We got to Vegas 2 weeks ahead of time. We had the booth set up. We've decided, here we go, we're gonna launch our full body program. A lot of excitement as soon as we landed in Vegas, only to realize we didn't know what we were doing, and neither did the painter who was supplied to us. So day one, we kind of land, we go right to the booth. We worked 12 hours from 9 p.m. to 9 a.m., so no sleep. And within that time frame, we'd prep the cars, and the product just wasn't applying right. We'd done tests back home. We'd done tests with a few retailers and dealers.
The R8 would look like a bubble gum, or like the whole color was so off. We were like, oh my God, this is so not what we wanted.
Yeah, and I don't think our Harbor Freight gun helped at all either. It was $90 spray gun.
It was spraying like this. Whoosh, nothing in the middle, just on it.
Just two lines. So basically the car looked horrible. We knew SEMA was coming up in a couple weeks. We decided to change colors. We thought, oh, we'll cover it up with another color.
Overnight, and it's single.
So we went from baby blue to pink, which made it look like some sort of weird bubble gum. At which point,
metallic red, and it was like miles away from it.
Miles away. And so we figured, well, that's a write-off. So peeled the product off and decided the R8 will have product on the wheels. But we still wanted to showcase a gloss color because the Camaro was a satin color. So we needed to somehow showcase a gloss color. So we figured we had enough product left. The booth time was over for the R8, so we figured the Genesis that was supplied, well, that one can be Miami Teal, which is our turquoise.
Really, the preparation was super tough, but the show itself was awesome because, again, we had a blast, but it created so much hype around the brand that we went from being just a brand selling in North America online to a brand that really had this international flair where we had distributors coming from Australia, coming from the Caribbean, Europe, and Asia. What? Caribbeans? Yeah, fuck off.
The Caribbean?
Carrot beans.
Caribbean.
Caribbean.
Okay, let's take it back.
No, I think that's good. Keep it going.
Ja, dat wil ik gaan zeggen.
Really, SEMA 2015 for us was really the moment where everything really ramped up, exploded. Not too far after that show, we went on our first trip to Puerto Rico. We launched the brand down there, and I honestly fell in love with the place, and it's just the car culture is just nuts.
I think it was our first experience really bringing a brand elsewhere. We kind of had our experience with the US. We kind of started to understand what the US market was, but Puerto Rico, it had its own challenges, it had its own climate, but we had a blast, and the hospitality in Puerto Rico was incredible.
Something else.
And shout out to you, Juan. Again, one of our early adopters, and again, great experience. And then shortly after Puerto Rico, we did manage to, through SEMA of that year, land a deal in Australia.
Yeah.
Which brought us to
The kangaroos losing top paddock.
yeah, definitely the kangaroos were definitely loose in the top paddock. We ended up going in June of 2016.
Yeah.
So for those of you that don't know, June in Australia is the dead of winter. And so as much as we were excited to get to Australia, the beaches, everything we were expecting, it was actually pretty cold, and that's coming from Canadians, so it was definitely not warm. But again, the experience of just bringing Autodip to the next level and bringing it to a new market was a heck of an experience. We were out there with some guys that had amazing drift cars. The support out there was just incredible.
G'day folks, right here in Australia, right? Got this new product, Autodip. Look how glossy that's coming up. Perfect, glossy, 100%.
Yeah,
That's what I want on my car.
that shit's fucked!
That's what we want. Autodip.
JDM scene is just in Australia.
Yeah, so being the proximity to Japan makes it that Australia has incredible cars. I mean, for most of us, it was our first experience with any kind of R34 Skyline, which for me, and I know for Vince as well, is just one of those unicorns that even here, I was saying earlier, it's easy to get JDM cars, but R34s, especially a few years ago, legally there's no way. Shout out to you Motor X for trying, but there was really no legal way of getting it done. So to see those cars, to be around that scene, we went and did GTR Festival, just a lineup of something like 200, 250 GTR, whether it be R32, R33, R34, R35.
Guys are not there to play. Like it's serious business.
It's a meet, but there's a drag strip beside, and I mean, you can show up and try to look like you're all that, but if you can't prove it on the drag strip, then why are you even there? And so that's something that we really liked, because we also did Fitted Festival.
And we were invited as judge. Fitted Friday, the name of the show, was something else. We discovered the burnout cars.
Yeah.
That were like just old school
RX3s,
Australian.
a lot of RX3s.
Yeah. We would have underground car meets like you don't really think of. It seems like it's out of a movie. And I remember Adam, we love you, Adam. We were in Australia, it was like the third day, and he said, like, if you guys want to meet some cool people of the car scene, I'll get you to know these people like tonight. So the guy gets on the phone and said, okay, there's a car meet at that mall tonight. There's gonna be a lot of people. And then we get at that particular mall that was like an underground parking, and then there was a lineup of the craziest like RX-7, R33s, R34, Supras, like crazy car all over the place. And it was like, what? And that was the really first like Autodip meet back then in Australia. And that really, like, that was lit, really.
Yeah.
That was lit.
Yeah. And again, just to see the support that we had out there. We have pretty amazing stories of just racing R34s through the highways in Australia, cars breaking down, being arrested, flying drones in no-fly zones, getting $3,000 worth of speeding tickets by mail. 2 weeks after we get back to Canada.
Yeah.
Australia, it was a hell of a ride. Shortly after Australia, we went out to LA as well. LA, we were down there for AutoCon. AutoCon LA was a great experience. We rented through Turo, funny enough. We rented 2 cars, a Liberty Walk M4 and a Liberty Walk, not a Hellcat, but an SRT.
Yeah.
The funny thing is the first day we had those cars, so we went to pick them up in Long Beach, we went down to the Canyons, we went to Mulholland Drive, and the first night we had them, the Challenger, that series of car in that year
Had a recall.
it had a recall, but basically the top radiator hose popped off. And so we're in the canyons, the top radiator hose of the Challenger pops off at the same time as the M4's charge pipe explodes.
Yeah.
So we rent 2 cars, we're really excited for the show. The show's in a couple days, and we go out to drive them in the canyons, and they both break down. So luckily the M4 charge pipe, when it does go, you can still drive it in limp mode. But the Challenger was going nowhere. So we basically took the M4, limped it down to PCH, picked up a set of really crappy pliers from a 7-Eleven.
Yeah, exactly.
And kind of went up and kind of muscled the radiator hose back in, filled it, topped it back up with coolant because it had dropped quite a bit. And that held up. I mean, we got it back on, we clamped it, and the following day we had a do-it-yourself garage where we were already planning to apply the product. So figured, well, we'll get the radiator hose back on. And luckily enough, one of the top manufacturers of aftermarket charge pipes was in the same building as the do-it-yourself garage. We booked a week ahead of time. So lucky, unlucky.
We saw like 6 M4s in the parking lot, and when they're walking, like,
Would you guys happen to have an extra charge pipe? And they were like, well,
We
look at the
manufactured
sign.
them.
We manufactured them. We were like, whoa, what a luck. So, and we were prepping the car for the show on that same day. So that was a very busy 24-hour, let's say.
Yeah, and so get the cars ready. Funny enough, again, we didn't learn our lesson from SEMA. In order to get in any convention center, you need to have a quarter tank of gas or less. So we roll up to the LA Convention Center with the M4 and the Challenger ready to go. We had Napa Purple on the Challenger and bronze on the M4. Really excited, ready to go. The tanks were about half full. And so the show doors were closing about 45 minutes for cars, and they tell us, well, you need a quarter tank or less. So we kind of look at each other like, we could probably make that happen. So turned LA into a racetrack, got the tanks empty down below a quarter tank, got the cars in. The show was amazing. Again, the reception of Autodip at the time still was incredible in LA.
And AutoCon had a level of cars that we never saw before. Like, SEMA is absolutely insane too, but AutoCon, we were like, whoa, okay, this is LA. This is really the scene. This is really the
over the top.
That was LA was a blast. Really, LA was a blast.
Really, something we've noticed is from the inception of this product and when we first kind of put it on the market is we put together content, and most people just didn't believe. I mean, with the incumbents in the market, with the people that already existed, to imagine a spray-on peelable product that came out as a high gloss, there's a lot of skepticism. So as we continued to do these shows, it was interesting to see people walk up to us and say, listen, I've seen you online. I just couldn't believe it. I had to see it for myself. And so to have that ground presence to do these shows was really great for us to understand that people wanted to believe in the product, but once they'd seen it, that was really all that was missing. And so doing these shows really helped us again in kind of certifying that there was room for us in the market. And again, that just pushed us to keep going in our R&D, to keep working on the product, to make it as good as we knew it needed to be. And so this was kind of all leading up to our SEMA 2016, which we decided to kind of tackle the full body market again, but the proper way. So this was again probably the first SEMA where we took the time. I mean, early in 2016 started to kind of lay out what the booth would look like, lay out what kind of cars we wanted to have there.
That year we had 5 cars. That year we had 5 cars. We had the World War Z 71 Camaro, which is an absolute legend. Liberty Walk S5. Shout out to you, Andrew. Now we also had Liberty Walk Lambo Gallardo. We had an i8 Oh yeah, Liberty Walk, GTR.
What we wanted to do with the full body program was not only take what we knew in terms of R&D and working on the product, but listen to as many painters, work with as many painters from around Canada as we could to understand really what the factors are when you're spraying these things. The rest was pretty smooth. I mean, compared to the other SEMAs that we had, I think
Absolutely.
we were the most prepared for that one. We won 2 SEMA Global Media Awards at that SEMA. A lot of recognition for the full body program.
Yeah.
And from there, continued working on deals, continued
People
working
would
on.
not believe that the car weren't painted, so they were like, "This one is not wrapped," or "This one's not wrapped. This one's not wrapped. This is not your product."
Yeah. So SEMA 2016 was definitely an eye opener for us to see how far we could push the full body program. And rolling out of SEMA with the guys that we had working in Puerto Rico, did a 1M, a beautiful 1M, shot a bunch of great content, and again, just really put the full body program out onto the market. And then slowly just started to see that the name that we were running with, the Autodip name, was just kept bringing us into a category of product that we didn't feel comfortable in. We were being compared to other products on the market that just weren't the same. That vinyl characteristic wasn't being shown enough, which is when we kind of started to mull over the idea of maybe having a name that represented us better.
Yeah. So we decided to switch from Autodip to Superwrap for this exact reason, to represent ourselves better, and the public really took that in an amazing way because it was less confusion. It was, for us, a better way to express ourselves with the tagline of the company, which was the world's first sprayable vinyl wrap. So it all made sense, and since then, we never regretted that the brand switch is really more on point with who we are today.
And I think for us as well, the product, as we were saying earlier, is always in R&D, and so we kind of had quite a few breakthroughs in that year in terms of just making the product that much better, and we wanted to kind of set the new benchmark for who we were as a sprayable vinyl. We eyed up SEMA 2017 to be the platform for us to kind of come back out and show our true colors. We decided to go pretty big that year and worked with a Ferrari 488 that had an F40 style kit to it, so the 5-spoke wheels, the kind of deck style spoiler in the back, and we went with
even Matt Farah talked about it.
Yeah, Matt Farah had a field day with it. From there, again, that kind of just helped secure our position as being the alternative to vinyl wrap and not just a better dip, which was really the reason why we went ahead with the brand switch. And so it was really rewarding to see people recognize that. We had our buddy Toshi come up with his Mustang as well, his wide body Mustang.
And what else did we have?
We had a GT3 RS, a 991 GT3 RS. As well as our friends down from Jay's Garage in New Jersey, who had kind of built out this, dare I say, Frankenstein 996 that was made to resemble a 964, so kind of a front end conversion and an extremely wide body kit. Mark Miller, close friend and family of the guys down in New Jersey, has been building out this kit, and so that definitely, again, just kind of brought a bunch of media out to the booth, and whether you hate it, whether you love it, it was definitely divisive, but people were in the booth looking at it, and that's really all that mattered. So a great way to launch the brand out into 2017, being that sprayable vinyl wrap, and so Superwrap really just kind of felt right for us. And so after we launched it at the SEMA show, kind of slowly rolled into offering it on the e-commerce. We had a new website that came out at the same time, so kind of just everything lined up, and it's been going since. Superwrap has been the brand that we've been pushing, and so far, from everything we've seen from you guys, it seems like you guys like it. So we're hoping that we can just keep living up to those expectations. So our full body program, which we launched in 2015 and have had different iterations of it, we really listened to you guys, to our customers, and we felt like we could be better. The product, don't get us wrong, had great features, but we just felt like if we really want to set ourselves apart and bring the spray wrap industry to the next level, we needed to just be that much better. And that's why between late 2017 up until pretty recently, we've kind of stopped working on the full bodies. Just again, we didn't want to have anything out there that wasn't perfect for the industry. So we've been working ever since then on coming up with the new and improved version of the Superwrap full body program. We're really close. We're hoping to have a date for you guys in the coming months as to when we expect to be back up and running because you guys keep asking us, when is it coming, and we hear you. We're working really, really hard on getting that done. And one of the key parts of that is we recently moved into a new warehouse / test facility / office, which kind of gives us that liberty. So the summer of this year, we decided that we'd bring all our inventory into one place, bring our offices in one place. And as you can see behind us, we have a bit more space to play around in. So in the R&D of those products, we'll be kind of laying them down on some of the project cars we have going on here and doing that final testing, that longevity testing on that product. And again, the fact that we're up in Canada really helps because the change in climate up here is so drastic that once we've built something that can last in a place like Canada, theoretically there aren't too many places where the temperature and the climate fluctuates that much. And another point is with this location, we want to show you guys a bit more as to how we operate, what goes on behind the scenes. And so in the coming weeks, you're gonna start to see us doing a bit more vlog stuff. We often travel to go and create content with some of our partners on YouTube. And so we really wanna give you guys an in-depth into how we actually operate, just be a bit more transparent with that. We have a very small team here up in Quebec, and to introduce you slowly into who it is that makes up the Superwrap team, how we operate, some of the R&D processes that we have.
Talking to.
Yeah, you're gonna know who it is that you're talking to when you write to anyone at Superwrap. We're gonna start putting some faces to those names. And so we're gonna be starting that to get into the YouTube game. We expect you guys to be as harsh a critics as you can be. We need your help. We've never done this before. So expect some more content coming out. We're gonna show you guys brand new how-tos, brand new types of applications, and again, just showing you guys what goes on here at Superwrap. And so
tell us what we want to see. Like, what do you guys want to see? And we'll show you who we are. Alex and me, we're the founders of the business, of course, but there's also like plenty of people behind the brand, and we have a crazy team here. So funny people, you're gonna get some crazy content, but we really want our following to tell us what really you guys want to do in terms of new colors, in terms of content, any kind of questions you have. And it can be more technical too. What type of application, the tips and tricks for some type of application that are very important, because sometimes when you're a first timer in these type of product as a do-it-yourself product, there's still a lot to learn. So this is really important, and I think that going on a more education way about the product can be really, really cool for everyone. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. So any questions you guys have, we're an open book. So whether it's in our support lines, whether it's on our live chat, or whether it's in the comments of any one of our social media outlets, just let us know what you want to see more of, and we're there to listen, and we're going to hopefully start churning out some more content for you guys.
We go around in the hometown in this yellow Super Beetle. I had nothing to do, so we do donuts in like cul-de-sacs. And that car would do donuts as if there was a spike rammed through the middle of the car. Right. It would rotate like
super
this.
Tight radius.
No, not super tight. Like it was rotating from the middle, like this. Like this. And then he would point his big beefy arm out the window and laugh like he was crazy, you know? Yeah. For 10 minutes, you know?
I think we're going to have you back once a week for stories with Tony.
If you want, but you have to schedule me on my lunch break, because now I'm like burning up UPS time and I'm going to finish later.